Hi guys, my name is Malu, and this is my presentation. I observed Miss Hall's class. She teaches at Reed Elementary School, and she's a first grade teacher. She graduated from the University of Idaho with her associates in education. She then started teaching and went on to obtain her master's in early childhood development. She also had the opportunity in the 2012-13 school year to be able to be a teacher exchange program, and she was able to go and live in Scotland for a year and teach, and that teacher came and lived here and taught her class for the year. She said it was an amazing and great experience that she had. There are 20 kids in her class. 2 kids come from the ERR, the Extended Resource Room, and are on IEPs. 3 kids are Hispanic and ELL students. All of our kids at the school do receive some Title I assistance in some way, shape, or form. We are considered a low-income school, and 75% of our students receive the free and reduced lunches. We are also the dual language program for the district, and we are also the migrant school for the district. So we have a very unique, diverse group of students at our school. Ms. Hall has a co-teacher, Ms. Painter, who helps with math. She also assists the 3 students that are Hispanic with being able to translate and with projects, and just to help them understand English a little bit better. Reed is the home of the cheetahs, and our students learn to show their spots. What is a spot? A spot is success is practicing respect, opting for compassion, and taking responsibility. The students learn this from the very beginning of school, and they show their spots wherever they go. So in order to understand inclusion and exclusion, you have to kind of know what IDEA stands for. It is Individuals with Disability Education Act, and it is what requires a student to be taught in the LRE, the least restrictive environment. When this law was passed, it was what helped students to be able to be taught at regular schools, at their school that they would normally have gone to if they were not a child with some sort of disability. Before 1975, though, children with disabilities could not attend public school in most states. So it was up to the parent to educate the child if they were going to be educated at all. Depending on the disability the child had, if it was a cognitive disability or if it was a physical disability. Most children with cognitive disabilities back then were just put into homes and left there. Kids with physical disabilities were just kept at home. Parents might have taught them the basics. So there wasn't a whole lot of education for these kids before then. So what is the LRE? It means the least restrictive environment. It means streaming policy is basically what it is. It means that the school district must educate students with disabilities in regular classrooms with appropriate aids and supports, referred to as supplementary aids and services, along with their non-disabled peers in the school that they would attend if they were not disabled, unless the student's IEP, Individualized Education Program, requires some other arrangements. So basically, if your child should go to school at Reed and they have some sort of a disability and are on an IEP, your child will come to our school still. They will go through the IEP process, and they will be put into a regular class as much as possible. They'll have appropriate accommodations. That might be, if they don't write, they get to use a tablet or a shortened test. Whatever their accommodations need to be to have the child in the regular classroom with their regular peers. If you want to know anything more about special education laws, if you go to rightslaw.com, the website on here, he takes the laws, and he's an attorney. He reads through them and puts them into regular, everyday, understandable English for you. So he's a really good person and a really nice guy. So if you want to learn more about it, check out his website. So what is inclusion? An example that I have from when I was there observing is the little girl that's in her class comes down in the morning, and when she comes into the classroom, she goes straight to her desk, she gets out her work, and starts doing her work. When she comes in first thing in the morning, they are doing their writing. So the other students are doing their normal writing, and this little girl gets out her writing book that they've made for her in the ERR, and she will work on that, while the other typical peers will work on whatever their writing assignment is for that day. And then there's a couple of them that as they finish up with their writing assignments, they will come over and assist her with hers. Now, when the two kids do go down there in the morning together, there is one paraprofessional between the two of them, so she has a little extra assistance. She doesn't need as much, though. Usually it's just to make sure she stays on task. She also goes with the kids during recess and to all of their specials. And the kids are really good about watching out for her and helping her where it's needed while they're at specials and at recess. Overall, the kids are really good with both kids that have the IEPs. They know the little girl more than they know the little boy, so they tend to include her a lot more. We'll learn about the little boy in a little bit here. So what is exclusion then? Students with behavior issues basically are the ones that usually get excluded a little bit more because kids don't understand them, particularly kids with autism that are nonverbal and can't communicate with their typical peers have problems with exclusion. So basically is a student with behavior issues should not be removed from the regular education or placed into a more restrictive setting for behaviors if the school has not appropriately addressed the behaviors in the regular education setting. If your school has not conducted a functional behavior assessment and provided your child with a behavior plan, you should request that these be provided prior to considering a change in your child's placement. So if your child is a nonverbal child, or if your child is a verbal child and has some sort of behavior issues, then they're likely to not be included by their peers, and you don't want to take them away from their peers. You want them to be in with their peers. You just have to make different accommodations. So the little boy, he has behavior issues, and he has autism, and he is nonverbal for the most part. He does go into the classroom with the regular general education kids. It makes it a little harder because they are slightly short-staffed in the ERR, but they make it work. He goes in there for 30 minutes a day, whereas the little girl goes in there 3 to 4 times a day for 30 minutes. He's only coming in for 30 minutes one time a day. He does go to specials with them, though, every day. The rest of the time he is in the ERR because of his behavioral issues. They are working towards getting him into the general education classroom more and more, but as they do, they'll just have to make sure that they have a parapro with him at all times. So for your assignment, I would like you to answer one of the 2 questions in the discussion board below, or you can combine the 2 questions if you would like. So your first choice is, in what way, if you were a teacher, would you help make sure a child is included in your class that was an IEP? You can take it to wherever you want with this question. How would you make the other kids accept the child? What kind of accommodations would you personally make? Those kinds of things. The other choice is, if you were the teacher with this little boy, what could you do to try to help him be in your classroom more? That one's a little hard with him having his behavior issues, but there are ways that you can help him. You can work a little bit closer with the special education teacher if you wanted to, or you could maybe brush up on some skills that might help you. Again, you can take that question wherever you want to with it. If you want to combine the two questions and answer them like that, you're welcome to. It's completely up to you. But please make your answer at least one paragraph. And I did get some information from Rights Law, but I also got some of it from Disability Rights of Ohio.